Hello, Battleborn. This is the first episode of Battleborn Gear channel. This episode, we are going to go over different gear types. So this is the introduction to all different gear types that you will see in Battleborn. Alright, so first of all, we're going to go through the iconization of these different gear. There are several different sets, and the icon that you see here will determine the first stat. And so there are different icons. So you'll see a syringe, you'll see armor, you'll see a glove or gauntlet, you'll see I'm calling a sword as it points down to the left, which is skill damage. You'll see a dagger, which is attack speed, points to the top left. You'll see magazines. This is reload speed. Chest piece. This is health, maximum health increases. Boots, which give you movement speed. A ring, or also considered a buckle, gives you the healing power. An amulet, which will give you incoming healing received and improve that number. These goggles are going to be crit damage. A wrench or spanner is useful for reducing your buildable costs. Buildable items include everything from turrets to actual minions that you summon. Battery is maximum shield strength. The shard, it gives you a trickle in shards per second. This is the regulator. It's more like something like that. It's like a regulator or shield generator. Or a core. I'm going to call it a core. This reduces how much time it takes for your shields to kick in and start recharging again. This I'm going to call a regulator, which increases how much your shields charge per second. The helmets reduce your CC or crowd control, CC reduction. So anytime you're stunned, slowed, wounded, etc. The watch or timepiece is going to reduce your cooldown time. The drinks are going to reduce or increase your your sprint speed. So not your just regular movement speed, but when you actually hit the sprint button, how fast you go on top of that. The stock is going to reduce your recoil. This doesn't improve accuracy. It just reduces how much movement your gun does between shots. Then the dart, the final item, is actual shield penetration, which is the damage that bypasses the shield or avoids shield. That includes shield and overshield. So there are several different gear types in Battleborn. There are the legendary, which you saw a lot of those orange ones with. But if we go down from the rarest to the most common, the next one after that is the epic, which is in purple, the rare, which is in blue, uncommon, which is green, and common, which is white. Now, unfortunately, because the bank sizes, I actually have so many items that are high level, I don't have any room really for anything other than rares and above. So I had to liquidate out all my greens and all my whites just to be able to explore some of these heavier stuff. The other ones you can find, it's no problem. Just go in here, buy a pack. I mean, just buy a pack, open it up, and the pack you gets at least one of those items. You can open it up and gives you at least a blue and above, but it has a chance of anything higher, right? So you're going to get a lot of commons naturally, right? So I didn't normally get rid of these. But what I'm trying to show are some of the harder items to find in the game. And so we're going through all these things. We're going to go through by type, but then also by rarity. If I go by rarity, you'll see that there's a lot of I've got a whole bunch of these things we're going to go through. So let's not talk about different sources for where these items actually come from, okay? Because legendaries are hard, but if you notice down below here, they're also really expensive to activate. So you may not actually want to use some of these in a lot of cases, and we're going to try and explore all of that. So let's find out where they actually come from. To do that, I'm going to sort by faction. What's interesting about this type of sort is that all the items that are based on a character getting to max rank, which is right now currently level 15, but after the winter's update, it'll be level 20 for each character. When you complete all their lore and you win a single match after they're level 15 currently, okay, you will get a legendary item for that character. That legendary item is only usable for instance, this one is the Blade of Transfusion, or Caldarius. When he does his ultimate skill, okay, which is Aerial Assault, when he lands down on a group of enemies, half the damage that's dealt to them will return to him as healing. This will heal you up full bar if there's a wave of minions or whatnot, and it's extremely, extremely useful. But it's considered a different way to augment that character. So let's go ahead and, if you look at this, there's a block of these items that are all character-based legendaries, and then after that we have legendaries on the per item group type. Okay, after that, but this is organized by faction, so I can separate all the character item legendaries out from everything else. Then it goes into faction groups, which is going to be, first of all, it's going to be Eldred grouping, and then your Generate. See how it has that red coloring to the items? Okay. Then you go into the LLC, and these are mostly shield-based items, a lot of that type of stuff. After LLC, I think it goes into UPR. Yeah, see, that's like the army colors and whatnot. UPR items, and then after that, you go into the rogue. Okay. If I order this by type, this is where it goes into all the different types we had originally on the first set. What's nice is that it's not faction specific. You're going to see everything in here. You're going to see not only you're going to see UPR particular items, you're going to see character items. They're all mixed in. So it depends on the sorting helps once you have a lot more items to figure out where to find whatever. What's interesting about type though is that is that if I have an item that's a gauntlet that's already equipped, I can't equip another gauntlet. That would be broken. Okay, because then I would just stack attack damage on 3 slots and you'd be ruined. So you can't have 3 items of the same kind equipped on any one loadout. However, what you can do is look for the secondary skills that show up. So, for instance, this top loadout I have called a regen tank, I have a health regeneration item, which is a syringe, as a primary, and that special splash. So in other words, if I'm CC'd or if I got a wound on me, any type of CC on me at all, I'm getting extra health regen, which usually is pretty convenient because usually when you get CC'd, you're also being shot at, so you usually need the health. It's just a little helper to reduce the damage when you're about to take it. This Blitzbee's Skull Plate, however, has a secondary stat of health regen, which complements the first one, so that they stack. So that 7 would go into that with that primary is 14, so that's 21 base at all times. And then when I get slowed, I get another 14, right? And then this one has a specialty where if I lose a certain amount of health, it kicks in another bonus stat where I get another 14 health per second based on if I've taken more than 25% damage. Now, I don't think this will proc again until I'm back over that 75% mark, or 75% health mark. But we're gonna go and explore all that. The point is that different items combined differently can actually create a really, really balanced gameplay. And so we're gonna go through and figure out what happens when I put legendaries with everything. The trick is that these legendaries are really, really, really expensive. So you'll see I'll have loadouts that are far cheaper down in here. I've got 60, 70, 80 loadouts planned, but we're going to go through a whole bunch on a per character basis. So as long as you know the legendaries cost 1,800 shards, which is a lot of shards. It's about 7 big crystals. I think a crystal will drop 620 shards. Well, something like that. A major crystal. Some drop 25, some drop 65. On the map, we're going to go through that as well and trying to find paths of what you need to go to collect to walk around and how long it's going to take to actually get these things up and running in a match. But as for basics, each of the stats, the primary stats, you can't have 2 of the same icon. Just put it that way. You can't have 2 of the same icon on the same loadout. But you can have the same stat as a secondary from some other item, and that's what we're going to mix and match. Also, you'll notice that some of these other ones, the blues and purples, are far cheaper, especially if they have a negative stat on them. A negative stat reduces the cost of that particular item by possible up to 300 and so shards. So if that negative doesn't matter, for instance, shield recharge per second, but you're free playing at Eldred, you don't have a shield. What do you care? or you have a negative shield recharge. You don't, right? Or if you're melee and you happen to have a reduced reload time or something like that, you don't carry a gun. You don't need to reload. So those items are particularly useful. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find those items, show you the negative stats come from, and let you know which faction packs those things originate from, so you know where to get those. Once the winter update comes out, though, all these faction packs go away. So you're going to have to, if you're going to hunt something down specifically, you're going to need to do that pretty quick, because it'll be afterwards is going to have to go into you're going to have to play a particular character from a faction on like an ops mission, get a perfect on it just to get a commander pack in that faction. So it's a lot more tedious to get a specific faction item later on, or you just have to wait for RNG to kick in and maybe you'll get it, which takes a while. It takes a lot of runs. So anyways, so you'll notice that the cost here, the activation cost down below, varies when you have a negative stat or a positive stat. And so we're going to do a video specifically on those negative stats later. We're going to do a video specifically on costs and how to put together cost structure of certain items. There's two duplicates, so I can get rid of one. Okay. And we're going to go through what particular items are most important for each character, right? So, for instance, this one, let's look to Pacifier, for instance. Pacifier is a great weapon for somebody who hits everybody, okay? So if you damage a lot of things all the time, let's say an Umbra, you're always putting sunspots off, and those sunspots will hit anything and everything. Well, guess what? You pop one sunspot off, and all of a sudden, everybody that was hit, minions, characters, doesn't matter, a boss, they all do 10% reduced damage for 5 seconds. That can save someone's life, because that's 10% of the cumulative damage, right? So just that one sunspot isn't going to heal them, of course not. But you're not doing it for the heal, you're doing it for the damage reduction. So that can change the way you play. So instead of sunspots being around the corner to save someone, to res somebody, you're using it as a damage reducer. It's a totally different way to play. Same thing with an offensive style. You have Bolus Target Finder. And what happens there is you'll have anything you do a skill damage will basically put an amplified damage tag on all those enemies. So that same sunspot now all of a sudden is offensive. In fact, since these things are similar, you could literally put a Bola, okay, put a Bola, and you can put a Pacifier in the same loadout. Now all of a sudden, your loadout is both offensive and defensive at the same time. So your sunspot has changes a 15% spread on damage input and output by one sunspot. That's amazing, and it's completely passive. So we're going to go through that type of thing. So as you can see, there's a lot of different factions, a lot of different to go through. Sorry for this introduction being so prolonged, but it is important to know where we're going with this and how involved it'll be. So please comment, subscribe, and throw out your ideas, because we're going to go crazy. All right. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you again very shortly.